Hello, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Sunday show. I would love to say welcome to everybody. What a brilliant night, etc. But it's not. It is. This will be another very soul-searching show. Sorry, it's the God's honest truth is we had a couple of call-offs this evening for the podcast, and the guys have very kindly stepped in with me. I'm just back from doing the gantry and stuff and press conferences afterwards. So by the time travel, drop off Davey and Kenny and that, I'm literally just here. So there's going to be a lot of things said tonight. Some people won't agree with, some people will agree with, but what it will be is truthful and straight talking. To join me on this is Mark. Mark, good evening, mate. How are you?
Been better, mate. Not gonna lie. After that today, no, just tired. I'm not gonna lie. We're 3 games into the season and already we've got a mountain to climb. But I've been better, mate.
Yeah, Ross, good evening, mate. Thank you for braving it once more.
Not a hassle, mate. Thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've had one of these therapy sessions, and by God, do we need another one again so soon? It's just depressing, isn't it? It really is. It's depressing. It's the hope that kills you, as they say. But we're here. We'll give our opinion, and we can only say what we think, and try our best to keep the tin lid on the steam coming out the ears, Stevie.
Yeah. Right off the bat, let's welcome and say thanks to our sponsor, CBD Oil Scotland. You can get 50% off if you order from the website. At this rate, I think we're all going to be ordering from the website. Candid, LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, Metaclad, Four Lads official roofing partner, Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon. You can get 10% off by quoting Four Lads, and Denhay, quintessential British bacon. Joining us will also be Athol Industrial Solutions, who are coming back to sponsor us this season as well. First off the bat, I'm going to say congratulations to Hibs. May not be very staunch of me or whatever, but they had a game plan. They defended heroically, and do you know what? Deserved the 3 points because they got them. This is a Rangers podcast, so we'll concentrate on us and our failings and everything else. There's some slight positives in amongst McInnes and others' performances, but collectively, once again, Rangers Football Club today let us down completely. Going to be some straight talking with regards to Derek McInnes, with regards to team selection, with regards to some puzzling performances and decision making all around. But what needless will say straight off the bat is it's simply not good enough. To be 3-0 at this point is pretty poor. It needs an automatic and immediate turnaround. But I have spoke all summer about the lack of quality in this Rangers team. And once again, it sat up and slapped us right in the face, because I don't think we were terrible today, and that's the worst thing of it. We had goal chances off the line, we hit the bar, but there's no, it was constant pressure, long range shots, etc. But there's no quality there. There's no quality to break down teams. There's no quality to take chances, and we can all kid ourselves on. It's a bunch of average players. Some are a bit better than average. And they've been put together, and it looks like it's a team that finished third last season. So there's going to be a lot of straight talking. I'm not going to mince my words. I've got plenty to say, and I will say it. Ross, Rangers were beaten today 2-1. Give us an overall kind of thought on it, Mark, jumping after Ross, and then we'll go through the bones of it.
The frustrating thing for me, Stevie, is we made enough chances to win the game. It was one of the ones where blocks on the line, goalies making saves, even when the goalie makes an arse, it hits the bar. But that's been us for how many years now? Nearly men get so close and then give it away, shit the bed when it comes to the long end of it. I can't really complain about the team, Stevie. It's more or less the team I picked, apart from I had Sterling at right back rather than our new £5 million centre midfielder, which was a bit wild. But we don't look as if we know what we're trying to do. It's a bit worrying that 4 weeks pre-season, 2 weeks now of competitive fixtures, and there's no semblance of passing lanes. We're throwing shit at the wall already. We're back at this stage again, and I said the last time I was on the pod that it can very quickly get away from you if you don't start the season well. and we have not started the season well. Results show that against teams that we should be beating. Hibs at home, I would argue we should be beating. The Polish mob on Thursday, any half-decent Rangers team beats them. Dundee United last week. So it's more frustration. I get today, I don't think some of the breaks of the ball went for us, but I also don't think that we are setting up as best we can in order to go and get results, and that's the damning thing for me, Stevie.
I think from my perspective, we huffed and puffed, but just to Ross's point, just lacking quality. I think we get so far up the pitch and then we lack ideas. We kind of get to that moment and then we just don't know what to do. I thought Yokota had spells, got into some decent areas. But to your point there, Ross, and Dragovic, starting right back, didn't understand that. He's a midfielder. And again, you can have a bit of makeshift, but even that, and then questioning McCrory in the sense that he puts Finlay Curtis there instead of swapping, bringing McCrory on. So his questions on that. I think the worrying thing for me is how slow we are on the ball. There's opportunities there to break, and we just, we're taking one too many touches, slow, just no pace on the ball. I mean, you've seen that pitch absolutely glorious out there today, and we just do not use it to our advantage at all. We don't have any third man running. We just lack ideas, and it's the same shit over and over. We're 3 games in already, and we've not won one. We've got a really big game on Thursday. It's a must win. Given how we done last week, and they're not great, to be fair. But I think the way we are just now, I think it's going to be a really difficult tie, and that's with us being home. And to Ross's point as well, I agree. Rangers teams in the past would, I would have no concerns whatsoever. But given where we are today, I'm extremely worried for Thursday, and obviously going out of that, and I'm also dropped down to the Conference League, which isn't ideal. But my worry is the morale of the team. We're just not there, and winning beats confidence. We just don't look like we have it, and I think it's one that, from my perspective, the crowd, watching that, you can understand sort of why the atmosphere is the way it is. They're not giving us anything, getting us off our seats. There's nothing action entertaining. It's pretty boring and a bit lackluster for me.
Yeah, it's all very huff and puff. We'll start with the team selection. The first big question mark was Dragicevic playing at right back. Didn't see that one coming at all. I think when you're talking about Dujon Sterling not being able to play 3 games in a week, can we really afford to keep him? The answer is probably not. Left back Romans McInnes, who I thought was one of the bright spots that I talked about today. Devlin and Raskin completely understand it after midweek. Left Finlay Curtis again, completely understand it. Yokota, sorry. I'm always going to have trouble saying this. I thought was excellent. Maybe just lacked the wee bit at the end, but he was unlucky at points. The front two up front, Lon Shankland and Yusuf Chermiti. We'll talk in depth, I think, about Lawrence Shankland. I thought Lawrence Shankland was absolutely dreadful today, and deserves a lot of criticism for his performance, his touch, everything about it today wasn't there. But regarding selection, I understood all of it. I didn't understand Dragicevic at right back. The fact is that if you've got 2 right backs in Sterling and McCrory, and Sterling can't play, then McCrory has to fill in. And if you're already deeming at this point he's not good enough to fill in, I think that's a massive problem for us, lads. Mark, that's a big problem area for us already.
Yeah, it was one I spoke about in the summer as well. I thought given to Romans and what he offers in terms of that attacking presence, we needed something similar. Attacking the fullbacks, start so much attacking play, and McCrory is more defensively, he's more sound. He's pretty much a consistent 6-7, but he doesn't offer that. And I think you're right there, where we've seen already Thursday had a torrid time in the first half. There's a lot of concerns with him. I think you're right there, where the fact that we're not bringing him on till after 70th minute, It's just Sterling's not playing, he's not starting, and then I've mentioned already in terms of Finlay Curtis filling in there, it's a massive red flag for me. I had a little bit of concern. I can understand why he's came in terms of he's got a bit more experience, he's a Rangers lad, etc. But we need more quality in that area of the pitch. And I think probably to your point with Sterling, that's a concern as well. He's been injury prone. He's had obviously major concerns with his injuries in the past. I think quality wise, he's a good player, but it's that reliance of him being there week in and week out, which is obviously a major issue. Where if he was fit, then obviously he'd be starting. But I think it's probably one area I would probably like to get after between now and the end of the window. I think we need to add that attacking threat fullback, similar to Romans, where you can get yourself up the pitch, have a bit of width, and just have a bit more presence in that final third. And I think we're just lacking that, which is we can see that in terms of our play, and it's more McCrory's more prone to going back. He doesn't get his head up and look forward, which is again another frustration. You've seen that with a number of moments in the game today where the crowd were getting frustrated. And look, I understand sometimes you have to recycle the ball and you try and get out to the other side, etc. But I think we're just doing it far too much now and just trying to be too safe, and it breaks our rhythm of play, and then the attacking moment's gone.
Yeah, their question here, Stuart says, all the fan media attacked Martin like a pack of hyenas for less last year, all patting yourselves on the back for an easy target. Let's see if you've got the balls to do it to McInnes. First of all, I've questioned all summer regarding the lack of quality at this football club and called it out for what it is. With regards to questioning Derek McInnes, absolutely we'll be questioning Derek McInnes as we're doing right now, talking about the right back position. Will we get the opportunity to do it? Yeah. See if the time's right. We'll absolutely question Derek McInnes, as I have done with Giovanni van Bronckhorst, Philip Clement, and everybody else that has been a manager at my time. So to come on here and accuse that towards us, I think is quite poor. We're 3 games in. The reason why, and let's not reinvent the wheel here regarding Russell Martin. We'd seen it in friendly games. We've seen it against Bruges. But I think we went after Russell Martin at home to Hearts. We hadn't won a league game yet. We'd been hammered by Bruges home and away. So if it's going to be a question of you want me to go after Derek McInnes after 3 games, the answer for it is going to be no. When it comes to it, yeah, absolutely. But let's give the guy a little bit of an opportunity here. He's not even, by this point, Martin had beaten Panathinaikos and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. But at the same time, we were also all at sea in every single game, teams creating chances left, right and centre. Derek McInnes has come in and trying to correct that. So let's calm down the hyperbole and the urgent need to have a go at fan media at every point here. If the time is right, Derek McInnes will get questioned and he will get asked. Until then, let's give him a chance to at least breathe. Let's move on. The game starts. I think we start with purpose, but it's, again, there's a lack of quality. We get so far, right? We genuinely get so far towards maybe, I think, 70% of the pitch, and then we recycle it and go back when, because we don't have any quality. There's nothing there. We start to get it to the right-hand side quite a lot, and that helped us because I feel that he's got the trickery. He was really good. But then we get hit from bolt out of the blue with a penalty, which we'll discuss in a minute. But the first 10 minutes, I think, were symptomatic of what we've seen throughout the game, boys, which was a lot of huffing and puffing, a lot of general pointing, a lot of people looking for movement. Nico Raskin and Cammy Devlin at times for me got too close and they were exchanging little short passes which weren't really doing anything but slowing up. So for me, I think it just highlighted, we're not going to get Brian Laudrup, right? We all know that. But you can work angles, you can work 1-2s, a lot of needless passes backwards for me, a lot of safe stuff. Derek McInnes called it pedestrian. He's absolutely right, Ross. The first 10 minutes was a sign of what was really to come, which was Rangers having all the ball and all the pressure without really doing much.
I thought the first kind of 10-15 minutes I was lucky enough to be invited to the game by Davey Heard, and I turned around and said to him straight away that down on the left-hand side, a lot of it Finlay Curtis was going back, but it was because him and Romans, you could see Romans was going up and Curtis was still playing wide. One of them had to come in, probably Curtis, to allow Romans to bounce it off and progress it from the defender. And I said to Davey, like, the fans were getting on Curtis's back because he was going back, but he was getting caught in the same half space as Romans. But as soon as the crowd started having a go because Curtis wasn't taking his man on or dribbling infield, you could see it weighing on him. He was right in front of us. And then I thought the second half, Derek possibly made a mistake putting him to right wing back. I think he admitted that in his post-match, because when he went on to the right wing back position, that just got worse. On the right-hand side, I thought Yokota was electric. I thought he was really good, going inside and outside, and that's really what we're going to need. And I think if you remember, if you think on the fact that he's only been in the building for a week to 10 days max, he'll start to build up those connections on the field with the likes of Lawrence, and whether it's going to be Nadiri, Miovski, doesn't look as if it's going to be Chermiti, which is another baffling decision when you've got such a big deal possibly in the pipeline for a prized asset to then go and play them, and then us being us, he gets injured. So I think that in the final third that will come, because I've seen enough from Finlay Curtis and I've seen enough from Yokota, and if we go and get another couple of wingers, Stevie, I think that there is a good blend in there. But I totally agree with you on the point that I've been getting it stinking on Twitter since full time for having the cheek to say I thought Cammy Devlin could do a job for us last season, having watched him at Hearts. Cammy will do what Cammy does, and that is winning the ball back, which he did all day the day. I thought he went in, he snapped about tackles, but he's not gone. He passed the ball 40 or 50 yards. And again, Nico wants to do the same job. And then if you've not got in front of them a cohesive team, and I would argue that's where everybody's playing safe at the moment, because nobody really knows who's going to be coming, and the amount that we've changed it about arse for elbow, even over the first 3 games, you're never going to get that cohesiveness. And I think that the day being in the stadium and seeing players make runs, Nadiri and Shanklin both made, I thought, really intelligent runs in behind. You can see them pointing. But by that point, the crowd were down and the team were feeling sorry for themselves. And rather than trying the ball over the top, we played the safe pass. And I actually turned to Davey and said, this is very much giving Van Bronckhorst vibes today. It's very much horseshoe, give it to your left back. He maybe pang it in a 1-2 with the left winger, then it comes back across. And it's cumulative fatigue for the fans, because we've been watching this shit show ever since we won 55. And I don't know how we get out it, Stevie, because the fans have no patience for the players. The players have got no backbone to still take the ball when the fans are on their back, and the cycle just goes round and round and round. And I don't know when we get off.
Yeah, for me, Mark, the last 10 minutes the first 10 minutes kind of just showed what we were. A lot of huffing and puffing. It lacks quality. Look, I'll continue to say what I've said all summer. There is a real lack of quality in the team. Really disappointed in what's happening up front, but we'll talk about that. The only bright sparks that I spoke about earlier, McInnes and Yokota, were for me. The rest, But then, the first 10 minutes kind of comes to that mark. Then there's that penalty moment. Off the bat, I'll tell you, I thought it was a ludicrous decision. The person on VAR, I'm not surprised in the slightest by him giving it. I thought it was a ludicrous decision. Genuinely, I did. Then McInnes said pretty much the same. He has to be careful. I complained last week about Nick Walsh on Friday night against Dundee United and was told that we will look after ourselves. I think the standard of refereeing in Scotland is absolutely appalling. Matthew McDermott on VAR, very quick to give that, which surprises absolutely no one. It wasn't a penalty for me. I think if you give that, you're going to be giving 100 of them this season. But I'll throw it open to you boys and give me your opinion on it.
Yeah, scandalous, if I'm honest. You know, at the time when I seen it, like, nobody's appealing. There's nothing like that going on. Hibs players aren't appealing. You watch it back. The boy Kerr's got his hands on Dragojevic's face. Yeah, he's not looking at the ball, but there's no impeachment. There's nothing there that's, you know what I mean? There's just nothing there that could be I just don't understand even why VAR had to get involved in that. Obviously, I'm not going to say too much, but I think from my perspective, I think you're right, Steve. If you're given that, then there'll be claims out for Rangers in the second half in particular. If that's a penalty, then why is not the others? It's similar. And like you said, you'll have penalties, 3-4 penalties a game just on the back of that. Like I said, when it happened at the time, not one player was, let's just saying, penalty or appealing for it. And also then it breaks down, and then the Don Robertson also goes to the VAR and gives it. It's not the first time. I think from a club perspective, we have to call this out. I know there's been bits and pieces before, but I think we need some direct action, like Sir Andrew Kavanagh, etc., having a discussion with SFA, because this just can't keep going on. It's, you know, we're only the second game into the league season. You know, we've got this already. I think to your point with Nick Walsh last week, separate debate, but again, poor performance. And look, people are going to make mistakes. That happens. That's why VAR are there. But the purpose of VAR, you know, is to obviously intervene if the referee's made a mistake, but the referee never made a mistake. So why is VAR getting involved? And how quickly they turned that over as well, for me, it's just absolutely scandalous. Enough's enough from my perspective. And I think we need some action from the club, direct to the SFA, to get this resolved, because it's not going to change if we don't do anything.
Stevie, in the stadium, you could see, because there must have been over a minute for the actual contact until the decision was given. You could see Hibs fans kind of looking at each other at the other side of the stadium, thinking that the penalty check was for us, because no one in the stadium had any idea what was happening. And then maybe a couple of minutes after it's given, Davey turns around and shows me his phone, and you see what it's been given for. How VAR's for clear and obvious errors. For once, a referee actually got a call right. If anything, it's a foul to Rangers. In my opinion, now obviously I'm going to have blue tinted goggles on, but the boy's got his finger gouging in his eye and pulling his jersey until he lands on top of him. That, for VAR to feel as if they had to pull that back after such a prolonged period of time, is bad enough. We talk about no re-refereeing games, but for the referee to then go and look at that and see the video I've seen, and again make a decision in 10 seconds to say penalty to Hibs in the play, I don't get that. And I've said on previous other podcasts that I don't buy into the conspiracy that referees are against Rangers, and I think the referees in Scotland, as you've rightly said, are absolutely horrendous, bottom of the barrel, and it's been shown over the last few Euros and World Cups when there's no Scottish representatives there. But it's starting to take away from the spectacle that is a Scottish game, and I'm not just talking about in Rangers games. And the SFA really need to have a look at it and decide what they're going to do in order to make games enjoyable to watch, because some of the decisions that are happening are baffling. And I don't just mean in Rangers games, but that one today in particular, because the VAR actually pulled it back. That to me is a nonsense, and I don't know what else you can say about
it. Matthew McDermott on VAR, I think it speaks volumes. I think if Matthew McDermott was looking at that from a Rangers angle at the other end, he's not even stopping to check that. He didn't check Nico Raskin's one. He also didn't check Ross McCrory in the second half, who's cut and got a massive mark on his eye, which Don Robertson let Hibs break on and then stopped it when Rangers got the ball back. For me, it's a poor decision. It really is a poor decision. The yellow is even more surprising. What I don't like is if that's a yellow, then the Hibs boy that scores it runs Josh Campbell to the Rangers end and does that in front. Where's the consistency? I don't like to see players getting booked, but there was no consistency. Again, Finlay Curtis takes on the right back within a minute or two, and he hauls him back and he doesn't get booked for it. So There is no blame here on that result. Rangers had 80 minutes to change it, and they didn't manage it because they've not got the quality. This is what this is down to today. I'm not here to blame referees, but it does change the whole narrative of the game. It changes the complete layout of the game, everything about it, because we then can't question. We then can't sort of play the game that we want. It allows Hibs to sit in and play the way they want to do it. So I want to be careful of saying that my blame today on Rangers getting beat is purely on Rangers, lack of quality, missed chances, everything else. But the penalty changes the game. It changes everything about it, and it's never a penalties at all. So as I said at the top of the show, credit to Hibs for the result, the way they defended, the way they performed, absolutely. But that changes everything for me, and it's never a penalty kick. And what then happens is Rangers begin to react to the crowd. We begin to force things. We begin to do the safe things. We don't get the ball enough. The one bright spot is Yokota on the right hand side, gets the byline, cuts it back. Trimiti should score, doesn't. It's blocked in the line, and then we have that horrible moment where Trimiti is injured. I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures of it watching. But we've seen it on the chat and stuff like that, and there's a massive lump coming out his knee. I mean, it looks a really bad one. They're talking about him going home in an ankle and a knee brace and crutches and all sorts. Knowing our luck, Trimiti will be back in September, but it'll be September 2027. Horrible moment for us. It kind of summed up the whole first half, which was a lot of huff and puffs, but very, very little quality.
No, absolutely, but I think you're right. It changes the whole complexion of the game, the penalty. But with regards to Trimiti himself, if it's his ACL, his season's done, which is a great shame. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussion around Trimiti over the last over the course of the day. Given there's a bid that obviously came in, quite a substantial amount. That's just our luck, isn't it? Like you said, if it's as significant as what we think it is, then that's going to be a major blow to us, along with obviously the transfer side of it, given we won't play the rest of the season. And it's not like that, it's how he then comes back for that, because ourselves with ACLs, some boys over the years have just never been the same players. So hopefully he gets a speedy recovery. They obviously got the scan tomorrow, they said, so we'll see what the impact of that is. Hopefully it's more of a sprain, but I think given the pictures, etc., it does look quite a bad one, and he'll also be out for some time. With regards to that, I don't know if Stevie want to go in terms of the bid, but if it was me, I would have been looking to cash in at that sort of amount. I know they're holding out for a bit more, but I think that sort of money is quite substantial, and how we could recycle that money and buy, given the gaps that we've got across the squad, I think we could use that money quite well. Obviously now that's not going to obviously materialise given Trimiti's situation.
Yeah, Ross, sorry, mate, go ahead with your thoughts on the first half, mate.
Yeah, I was just going to butt in there. See the Trimiti thing, there's a couple of players that we're interested in now. The boy for the Dutch league, the young Moroccan boy, and he's not been in their squad because there's deals going on. Dal missed a couple of squads because there's deals going on. See, for me, see if you've got a supercar sitting in your driveway and somebody's bid you 25 million for it, and you think you might be able to get 26 million, 27 million for it, and you're just trying to, you're not going to take it out onto a racetrack and say, I'm going to have one good ride of that and have a good chance at, do you know what I mean? I feel as if we've gambled on playing a prized asset today, and it's came back and bit us in the arse if he is going to be out for any length of time, because that money dwindles. He's at the peak after last season, the goals he scored. That value you might not get again. Do you know what I mean? And I feel as if I've mentioned it before, I think, on here, we made the same mistake with Morelos. We got offered good money for Morelos, 16 million for Lille. No, we want 20. We need to get better at taking big offers for players who can be replaced for less than that. And if we want to be a player trading club, then that's the type of deal where you're doubling your money and a wee bit more over the course of a season, half a season really, because he never kicked a ball until December. He's not scored goals pre-season. He's not looked great pre-season. He's not looked like scoring in the main games. I would just, if they think that they can get extra for him, I would have been sitting him out today, as much as it pains me to say that, because I'm a big fan of the boy. But if we want to actually look to kick this player trading model into its infancy and get it up and running, we've got two assets that we value at £40 million on the field today, in Raskin and Tramiti, and all we're doing is risking any deals that could come back up for them. That might be controversial, but that's where my head is on it. I feel as if we've made a silly decision.
Yeah, I think we've definitely made a silly decision. I would have for €25 million, I would have dealt there, but Rangers' decision afterwards was that they are not going to sell him at all. So I just don't know. Into the second half, and yeah, it was much the same as the first. Rangers, I think, dominate the ball. Hibs looked dangerous on the break, but sit in and really compact, defended with their lives. I mean, they got a stroke of luck when Shanklin does give the opportunity. The keeper kind of fumbles it and it bounces to the ground, hits the bar. I think that these are the kind of moments where you need, and we didn't get them. Curtis to right back, he explained why he done it. He said he put him to right back because Vanya was the spare man in the first half, but it just didn't work. He admitted himself it didn't work. And that was it. It really took away that whole side of it. So that was a puzzling decision that just didn't work. Plenty of huff and puff, plenty of opportunities. The real big thing is we didn't really look likely until Gassama came on. He bulleted a couple of balls across, and then finally we do get that moment. It's far too late in the game. But there's just, this is it, and this is why we get beat today. This is why we haven't won the first couple of games. This is why we couldn't take any chances in Poland. There is a lack of quality. Lawrence Shanklin was utterly horrendous today up front. Didn't hold the ball up, didn't win anything, didn't pass the ball. He looks unfit, just looked well off it. Ryan Nadiri put on a shift when he come in, but I think he lacks. It looks like he lacks quality. He was winning a lot of flicks on. Shanklin was nowhere near him. We didn't look likely until Gassama came on. Lawrence Shanklin was somebody I wanted into this football club, but he looks every bit like a player that's lost everything about him and is 2 years too late. And that's a real worry for me. I thought he was terrible today. He deserves every bit of criticism for his application and his all-round game. And I don't, I really appreciate Lawrence Shanklin in terms of wanting to be here and everything else, but he's as guilty and he's available for criticism as anybody else. He really let me down today. I thought he was garbage, and quite honest with you. The two in midfield, I thought the game, I could understand why Raskin and Yokota went off injured because they were both knackered. But I felt like that kind of dipped us. I really like the look of McInnes, and I like the look of Yokota on the right hand side. But aside of that, I don't think Nico had his best game. There was that one where he broke forward and he got on his left foot and it was a weak shot. There was nothing from Romans down the left hand side. It all changed when Gassama came on, but there is genuinely a real lack of quality in there, lads, and that's why we lost today. We can blame the penalty decision, blame whatever you want. Hibs defended well. We made it easy for them because there's no ruthless streak there. There's nobody capable of being able to strike a ball or take that moment of impetus or that moment of quality, because they just don't have it, Mark.
No, 100%, mate. And I think this is a problem we've had already this season, where we're having short spells of a bit of intensity. You know, that goal, like you said, Gassam came on and he had a little bit of a presence and threat. But we're at 84 minutes. And I think up to that point, we're just so lacklustre. But then we have that, and it's far too late. You know, again, it's another own goal. You know, it's a dangerous ball in. Defender doesn't deal with it. That's another worrying part, is in terms of open play goals. You know, our top goal scorers an own goal. Top goal scorer this season is 2 own goals, which, you know, is a major concern. To your point with Shankland as well, he's not fit. He's not sharp. You know, you could see when he was at Hearts last season, even prior seasons, you know, just needs that yard or two and he's getting strikes away. The ball's bouncing off him. He's not holding it up. Obviously, he's had the World Cup, etc. But he just does not look like the same players came in the building from last season and the seasons prior. I'm just saying with Finlay Curtis as well. I think when we play the low block, I don't think it works for Finlay Curtis. I think for Thursday's an example when the game's stretched and open and he's got that sort of space to run into. He's a threat, he's got the pace, etc. He can cut inside. I think when we play that low block, I don't think he... And it's not on him, I just think it's just the way his game is. He's not added... like today, he was coming inside quite a bit. He's playing the ball back, obviously being a bit safe. Whereas Thursday is an example there when he's got that space to run into. You can see how much a threat he is, and obviously he's unlucky when he hit the post at the end there on Thursday. My worry with this team is we're so lacklustre for so much parts of the game, and then we have a short spell like Dundee United again last Friday. That started second half up to the goal. We get the goal, and then we just stop doing what we're doing. I don't know, and it's maybe, to your point, Stevie, we've just not got that quality and we need to add in quite a number of areas. But
Mark, honestly, Rangers were the better side today. So many chances, so many moments, so many everything. They just don't have the quality from wide, from the centre of midfield, and from up top, boys. And I'm going to rabbit on about it because it's absolutely true. Shankland today, useless. Nadiri tried a lot, was on the end of it, but there's no quality there. And it's been my concern all summer, and it will continue to be. At the moment, we are playing every bit of the side that finished third in the league last year. And I don't want to cut you off, Mark, but I feel like we could talk days, boys. It comes down to the same thing, a sheer lack of absolute quality. We don't get the chances. We don't split teams apart. We don't create opportunities. Everything's forced. There's no good passages of play or anything like that. And honestly, you know, Gassama done really well today. He'll start on Thursday night and be garbage. That's the issue. It's the issue we have all the time. Throw it open to you again. Rangers obviously equalise, and then we'll talk about the goal we lost in a minute. At that point, you're wanting them to kick on. But it's just... there's just nothing there. We just don't have the quality, and I'm going to go round and round in circles of saying it, but that's the reason.
I'm finding myself in that position you were in last year, Stevie, where you obviously got a real liking for Nico, and when they're not playing well, and obviously the same for me with Lawrence. I'd need to see it back today. I thought it was unlucky. Did the goalie not have a right good save for a header from quite Dunlopy's left? But I get what you're saying. You're the club captain of Rangers. I said on this podcast when he was made captain that I thought he had shoulders broad enough to take it. But it's pressure in it. Your boyhood club. You're the talisman. You're the one that we're expecting to score the goals. And I don't mind putting the boot into him about performances when they're no good. I see a lot of people commenting he doesn't look fit. Stevie, you've met him. He's no people. He's just stone overweight and that he isn't. He's not been great. He's not been
doesn't
great.
Look match fit though. There's a difference. Yeah, he's not overweight. Like, he's skinny. You can see that, but his match fitness isn't right.
I would say he was unlucky today with his header, but from the other end of the park, I did think a couple of times fully flown Lawrence, who's been scoring goals, hits it first time. I think a couple of times he tried to cut in on his other foot, which isn't like him. I'd like to think once he gets the monkey off his back and scores his first competitive goal, that will take some of that weight off him. But looking at it now, potentially I got it wrong. Potentially bringing him into his boyhood club and throwing the captaincy on him isn't the right thing, because it puts a lot of pressure on both him and Dell. Dell's now got to start him most weeks, especially now that his vice captain's also not getting a sniff. So it's big pressure. He's came with a big reputation within this league, scoring 20 goals a season. But for right now, I just think he needs a goal, Stevie. I think he needs a goal to ease the burden on himself, because he'll know as much as everybody else the pressure that a Rangers striker is going to be under who doesn't score goals. And I just hope he gets one sooner rather than later, and we start to see the best of him, because on his day he is a potential match winner. I don't think anybody can disagree with that.
Mark, I've pinned this on a lack of quality. I don't think Rangers overall were terrible today, because we created so much. We dominated the ball. We had countless shots on goal, everything. But that's all right, doing that when you've got actual quality. We don't have it. We don't have players that can finish. We don't have players that can shoot. We don't have players that can do that extra bit special. It's all very workmanlike. It's all very huff and puff. I've said it all summer. You can blame the referee today all you want for that penalty decision. I think it was a poor decision. It's not the reason we lost. Hibs were well organised, deserved the 3 points, and I'll say it again, because they did deserve it, because of the way they were set up. They worked, they took their chances, they broke well, they were organised. We don't look like a team that's organised. We look like a team that jogs back, as we did again, which we'll discuss for the goal. Manny Fernandez again, heads up his arse, jogging back, but backing off everything. Yeah, so biggest issue is our lack of quality and our lack of application. That was a question I asked Lawrence Shankland. You can see it tomorrow when it comes out. And that is where I am 100% with this. You can make all the excuses in the world. We are not good enough. And that lies at the door of the chairman, recruitment. We spend money, we spend it, and we get worse. So what I would say is, I think the couple of players that played today look good, but this huff and puff, lack of quality, that's the truth for me. You can blame every other thing in the world. Rangers are to blame for this situation. We don't have the players that are good enough. Until they fix that rapidly, and we're going to talk about recruitment. Mohamed Diamandi is about to leave, which we'll talk about in a minute, etc. Yeah, that's where I am, Mark. We lose a goal from a position of another corner to Rangers. Derek McInnes said Thursday night, I never want to see my team do it again. Less than 20 minutes later, we've done it again. And it's just not good enough for me. We're never going to start winning games like today or Thursday night until we get the proper quality. And McInnes does, he's right, he needs help, he needs a hand immediately.
No, 100%, mate. And my concern is, we've already referenced it, but I think for me, we just get so far up the pitch and then we just don't know what we're doing. And I think it is down to that problem we've got, is where we're lacking ideas, and there's certain players that aren't good enough. I think obviously your quote, as I said, he had some really good moments in the game. He's definitely got ability and you can see he's a threat. But my worry on that is then you start over-relying on him. Just keep giving him the ball like we did to Gassama last season, where the early games in Europe, etc., we just gave him the ball, let him run, and hopefully he goes and does something, because nobody else is capable of actually having a moment. And you're right, probably that piece with likes of Fernandez and stuff like that as well, like that lack of desire from me now, like, you know, Dundee United, Thursday, obviously again today. Like, Fernandez is a good football player, but I think all this stuff is going on in the summer. He's up his arse. I think you're absolutely spot on there. He's came back thinking he's probably back to the old Fernandez when he first came in the building, and he also matured quite a bit as the season went on, but he's definitely went backwards. I think if we're adding quality like we have done with McInnes and obviously your quota, then yeah, that's fine. We'll be going places, but we need these people in the building. I think the likes of Deal going out, I think it's good business. I think it's, you know, he started a couple of games so far this season. He's not done enough for me. You know, and that attacking presence, obviously with Tremiti out, the day coming in, he'll work, but I think he needs a striker beside him. And also Shankly sort of playing the 10, and he's sort of been the focal point up top, which I don't think works. We've got, you know, we've got what, 3 and a bit weeks of this transfer window. We've got serious some amount of dealings to do. The only probably benefit we've got just now is we don't play a league game now for a couple of weeks, don't we? Given got European tie, and then we've got St Mirren in the League Cup next Sunday, so there's a little bit of breathing space. But again, we still want to be in these 2 competitions, and we need, I think, in the starting 11 of the squad we have just now, I mean, it's not going to be easy.
No, we'll talk about that second goal. Ross, Rangers have it from a corner. Hibs break away. There's no pressure. We don't go make the tackles. We stand off. There is a shot, then comes in, and a wicked deflection. And and it kind of curls round Pandora right into the corner. I think at first you're kind of thinking, could he get over to that? But it bends away. It's just that it's that kick in the teeth, isn't it? Not to take anything away from Hibs, but it really was a smash and grab today from them. They'd done brilliantly. Listen, game plan worked superbly, defended brilliantly. Absolutely, don't mind that in the slightest. Give them all the credit. But it's a kick in the teeth for us completely. It goes right in the corner, and that's it done. But it comes from Rangers' corner. Diamandi just weak, lets the ball bounce. He then kind of falls down. It's just, there's no pressure there. Where's the desire? The lack of Fernandes jogging back again. I can't. If I've seen it once this season, I've seen it a million times already. We don't pressure. We don't look like we have the. See Hibs blocking on the line, putting bodies everywhere, stopping goals. We're just sitting off, watching it all unfold. Oh look, they've scored. Oh well, never mind. That's how it feels to me. I don't know how it I can't speak for everyone. That's how it feels to me. A lack of desire, Ross.
Yep. Well, the second goal today is the exact goal we don't score, because they get the ball, they turn the ball over in the end of their box, they play a quick pass forward. That's what it takes to kill us. It's what it took to kill us. They'd already done it twice in the second half, and Cammy Devlin came back in and covered twice for whoever was playing right back at that time. I think it might have been Curtis once, and then potentially McCrory. And then the third time he just couldn't quite make it back in time. But we want to fanny about. We want to give it to Fernandes and then allow him to do wee Cruyff turns and pirouette himself into the stadium, into the grass rather. He's drilling for oil with his boots before he wants to release the ball, whereas other teams are getting the ball and moving it quickly through the thirds, and we don't have that. And that's what I speak about, Stevie, when I say Derek McInnes he's managed Aberdeen, he's managed St Johnstone, he's managed Kilmarnock, he's managed Hearts, so he knows how teams can play on the counter-attack. And it seems that when he's came here, obviously I'm not saying he's encouraging the holding on to our two centre-backs hold on to the ball for 10, 15 seconds at a time. And see if you add up the amount of time that we just stand on the ball. Pandor was a wee bit guilty of it, and all going into the last kind of 15 minutes, I was like, get a bit of urgency on you. And as you say, when we do commit forward, everybody's quick to get forward, looking for the glory of being the person that scores a winning goal. But when the ball breaks the other way, it's, somebody else will get it. And that, to me, is not a Derek McInnes team. And I just wonder how long it's going to take for him to be able to impart that onto these players, to have that work ethic. Like, when you go, any of us that have played football, if you go out and your teammate loses the ball and you're within tackling distance, you go and you cover your teammate's arse and then you give him a bollocking. But I don't see any of that in this Rangers team. I don't see any of it apart from Cammy Devlin, who done it. But that is Cammy's role. That is Cammy's whole. That's everything he's going to give you, is putting out fires and covering other people's mistakes, allowing people to go and be brave on the ball, knowing that if they lose it, he's going to be there. But he's not going to give you anything else. And for me, that's what I think we've missed the last few seasons. But you've got to complement that with other people that are going to graft round about him. If a team breaks on you with 3 or 4 players, the wee man can't go and do all that work himself. And Fernandes, I don't know where we go with him, Stevie. I don't know how you light a fire under his arse. I would love to drop him, but who do you bring in? Do you Liam Kelly? Is he like at centre half, or it looks as if he needs a rocket put up him? But I don't know how you do it when you don't have anybody else in there who can go and play the position and give him a few weeks with splinters in his arse to try and G him up a wee bit and show him that he's no irreplaceable.
Yeah, McInnes doesn't come out of the team for me. I thought he was an excellent showing today. That pass he played into the middle of the pitch, which released Raskin for his break, I thought Nico was poor at that moment. I'd like to see more from him. I agree on Fernandes. I struggle with him. I said it on Friday night. I am tougher on some players than I am of others, Mark. But I want to get your opinion just before we finish. Just sum up your thoughts on on that today? Where are you with it all?
I think to Ross's point, I think we're far too nice. I think we need a bit of grit in between our teeth, and we need to have a bit of ruthlessness and a bit of nasty side of the game. I think Devlin's probably one of the exceptions off that. Again, on the ball, I don't think he done overly enough. I think he played a bit safe, but his desire, his work rate, that tackle he made in the second half, he's run about 60 yards or whatever to get back and obviously got the throw in for us. Like, that's what we need across that pitch. I think we're lacking in so many areas. And it's one thing, we need to get this right going into Thursday. Overall, I think there's a number of concerns, and we've still got a bit of work to do to ensure that we get this right. Or come the end of August, we could be already saying title's done, which will be absolutely ridiculous. But that's sort of the position we're in, and we've now put ourselves in a position where we can't afford to drop any more points. We're literally 5 points behind after 2 games, and that's now the concerning part, where we literally can't afford to drop any more points. And sadly, we're a team that gets so far up the pitch, but we've just not got enough. And sadly today, we dominated without, I think, making Hibs uncomfortable.
Ross?
It's hard to disagree with Mark. That's the thing. It's all right having 80% possession, but what are you doing with it? How much are they squirming? Don't get me wrong. A few times they've cleared the ball off the line, and we've looked as if we've made inroads. But for me, the AGM tomorrow is going to be interesting. I kind of said last week, I feel as if the new owners have had a shitmare. And to be honest, that doesn't look like getting any better. We've not had a good start to last season. We never had a good end to last season. We've not had a good start to this season. We've hired a manager who 90% of the fans have got behind, but without interviewing anybody else, made the decision, Danny Rille's gone, we're going to go and get McInnes. It's not worked so far. That needs to start working, because, as I said before, the position we're in now, there's not really many other places that the supporters' frustration can go, because we've tried everything else over the last couple of years, and that's going to be towards Mr. Kavanagh and the top echelons of the club. They really need to make things happen, Stevie. They need to give us the quality that we've spoke about all night. They need to give Derek McInnes the tools that he's been asking for the best part of 3 weeks now to do the job. And we need to start getting these deals over the line. We need to get bodies out. John Souttar, he's been down in England having talks, and his agent's been talking to clubs for about what feels like a month. We just can't get rid. We need a big shake up. We need a jag. We need to get moving in the transfer market. And most of all, as Mark alluded to, we've got two knockout cup competitions coming up in the next 2 games, and we need to win both of those. We need to be competing for silverware. It's what this club was founded upon. And the more seasons pass by that we're dropping out of Europe, we're dropping out of cups early, we're not making finals as much, we're not challenging for the league title, then the harder it gets to get back up to that level. And as I've said before, I just feel sorry for, like, my wee girl of 14 who's never really seen us winning anything, and it just feels as if every season the season starts off up there, and then here you go, within 3 games we're down as low as you were at the start of last season. We've seen where that went. So 2 games, 3 weeks of a transfer window, and we really need to get this right, Stevie, or else we're in for another long, hard season. I'll end up with grey hair the way we're going, I think, if any hair left at all.
Stop boasting about it, mate. A lot of people saying in the giving Dale criticism for taking off Yokota today, he was knackered. Anybody at the game could have seen that. He was absolutely done. Raskin was the same. Injury to Chermiti. It's kind of limits what we can do. I did think Gassama made a real difference on the left. The positives for me tonight was McInnes' performance, Yokota on the right hand side. I think we've got a hell of a lot to do. The lack of quality is worrying me. I think Manny Fernandez stems from it all at the back, his lacklustre. The defence is really poor. We need a solid defender in there. In midfield, I've said it all summer, we need something different. It seems like we've replaced like Barron, Diamande, Chukwani with the same players, and that lack of quality, that's something different. That ability, somebody to take on a shot, is really troubling me. We don't have anybody with that capability. Cammy Devlin gets into some really good positions but can't shoot. Recovers the ball really, really well. You can't probably can't play Devlin and Raskin in the same team because they were really close today and do the same job. Do you need to fix that? Yeah, you probably do. The right back situation is really bad. If we don't trust, if we don't trust Sterling to play 3 games a week, and then we don't trust McCrory to come in for him already, I think we've got real issues there. And then you look at the left wing position with Curtis and Gassama. Gassama, you're not selling Finlay Curtis, so does Gassama move on because you do need quality on the left. And on the right hand side, they probably need somebody else that can come on for Yokata as well. So up front, Shankland's needs to get up to speed very quickly. Chermiti's going to be out for quite a while. That's a real problem for me. Bojan Majowski has not been involved at all, so is he getting bombed out? Is he on the way out? I don't know. And then there's others like your Suitors, like your Barons, like your Majowskis, like your Lyle Camerons. They all need to be put out the squad. If they're not going to play, we need to move them on. So yeah, it's all a bit. It lacks quality. I'm going to keep saying it. News tonight breaking. Oh, I think Sky are reporting it. Chris Jack's reporting it that Corum FK of Turkey are closing in on a move to sign Rangers midfielder Mohamed Diamande. A switch in the region of 4.5 million is now close to being finalised. Good. Listen, Mohamed Diamande is one of many that can leave the football club. Doesn't have the quality. Has never progressed through being, as far as I'm concerned, he's stagnated quite a bit. He's never got any better than being just average. I've got no issues with him leaving. I would like another 6 to 8 to follow him out the door. But it's all very pointless if we replace him with absolute mediocrity. So the signings have got to be right. It's got to be quality that comes in. I'm all for Dio going. He hasn't improved during his time. I don't mind that in the slightest. 4.5 million, fine. Boys, are you anything on the departure of Mohamed Diamande, Mark?
Not surprised. I'm kind of glad. I think you're right. He's. I think the frustrating thing for me is there's moments when he has one good game and then there's countless games after he's nowhere to be seen. And I think he's one of these players where he started off pretty well. I quite liked him when he first came in the building. But as seasons have progressed, we've just got nowhere. The fact we're getting our money back, not losing any money, I think it's a good bit of business. As you said, there's more to go. You know, I mean, could easily go 6, 7, 8 to follow that. But that's kind of money we're getting in. Then we also need to add. But I think you're right. We've done too many like for likes, and the quality's just not got better. So hopefully with what's going to be coming up over the next few weeks, and we start adding that quality like we have done with the likes of Yokota and McInnes. So let's see what happens over the next few weeks.
Ross?
I'm just glad it's a water pistol at the holster that's been took away from McInnes, Stevie, because he seems to have had a lot of faith in him. He seems to want to play him quite a lot, and for me, that's, I nearly said another gun at the holster, but he's more a water pistol. He's no power, no guile, no heart. Sometimes, like, I'll not be glad to see the back of him, and if we've somehow managed to get our money back, sell as far as I'm concerned, and go and reinvest the money on somebody that's proven, who's going to be able to play that wee bit further forward as an 8 pushing into a 10, that's going to go and give us goals. Don't now go and sign somebody who's going to come in and want to sit in front of the back 4 and do the same job as the other 36 midfielders we've currently got on the payroll. So that's the thing, Stevie. It's getting players out, but we need to start getting players in that give us a different mix. At the moment, everything we've got is very beige, very bland, very vanilla. and I think we need to now go and really push the boat out to get difference makers in the final third, and I think that you'll see quite a big difference in the team if we can get that.
Yeah, I feel like I've repeated myself. It's been a really difficult pod to do. I'd like to thank Ross and Mark. Mark, thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate your time.
No, pleasure for having me. It's been a while since we've been on, so good to be back with you. Obviously, given the circumstances, I wish it was a bit better.
Yes, indeed, Ross. Thank you, mate, as ever.
Not a problem, mate. Thanks for having us. And one of these days, I'll get to pod with somebody new like Mark, and we actually can have a laugh and a joke and enjoy it, as opposed to it feeling like mental torture. It's been a long 2-week season already, Stevie.
Yeah, absolutely is. Thanks to everyone in the comments, everyone that's watched and got involved, everyone that supports the podcast. Done my very best to monitor the comments, quite a few having a good old laugh at the situation we're in, and that's absolutely fine. I'm only here to concentrate on Rangers. Really appreciate all the support from everybody that regularly tunes in. The regular Sunday crew, Scott and Cheryl, etc., Rob, they were all couldn't do it tonight. People getting back late, so I've kind of stepped in, and thanks to Ross and Mark for joining us. We'll be back every night this week. Monday crew will be back. Tuesday we'll be at the AGM tomorrow to cover that as well. We'll have somebody. I'll not be there, but we'll have somebody there to cover it for four lads. There was no press opportunities, no chances of interviews. And then tomorrow at 12 o'clock, the post-match gantry stuff goes up as well, which is you can watch that if you wish. How do I close this up? I don't know. I'm not here to lie to people to make it sound any better, to reassure people. What I will say is Derek McInnes needs to learn very quickly. He needs to get Rangers moving, because a few more results like this, and quite rightly, will start to get questioned. It's not been good enough. We've not performed well enough. But I will point to the fact that he is suffering, and this Rangers squad is suffering from a major lack of quality. We need an attacking midfielder of quality. We need width of quality. We probably need a right back. We definitely need a centre back, and we could go on and on. What Rangers need in their team is quality. That's up to Andrew Kavanagh. Andrew Kavanagh stopped me today, and we had a conversation in which he said he listened to a few podcasts and was very complimentary. That's all wonderful. Mr. Kavanagh, I'll say the same thing as I said to you today. We need to get the checkbook out and bring Rangers quality. Otherwise, results like Tannadice, results like Europe, results like today will continue. Rangers shouldn't have lost any of them, but we've failed to win any of them. That's on Derek McInnes, and it's on the players, who really quickly need to get up to speed. As for you, Mr. Kavanagh, and the recruitment team, you need to get the quality into Rangers that we deserve if you're being serious about where you really want to take this football club. Because every step you made so far in your tenure, it's hard to argue that it's worked out well for the football club, and that's how the fans feel. And that's certainly overall what fans are saying to me. As for Derek McInnes, he'll get time because he deserves that time. 3 games isn't the time for me to start having a go at him and question him. But if you don't win games at Rangers, time stops for nobody. And Derek McInnes will be in the same position as Russell Martin, Philip Clement, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, everybody else that have questioned. So that'll come, and I hope it doesn't. I really want Derek McInnes to do well, but the bottom line is you need to win games at Rangers. To do that, you need quality. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anyone. You blame anybody you want and say anything you want. Rangers lack good footballers. They lack quality. There's too much dross in that team. There's too many players that egos and heads are so far up their arse that they think they've made it, and in truth, they've not even begun at Rangers Football Club. You don't make it until you win things, and none of them have. And until they do, they'll be mediocre. So Manny Fernandez and Telo Asgards and everybody else that act the biggins, you've not made it at Rangers until you arrive and win trophies. And Rangers at this moment in time are a million miles away from doing that. And that's the truth, as painful as it is. Thanks to our sponsors, CBD Oil Scotland, Candid, LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, Metaclad 4 Lads Official Roofing Partner, Athletics Lounge by Sharon, and Denhay, your quintessential British bacon. Thank you everybody who watched tonight. Do better, Rangers, and do better quickly. The Four Lads Rangers podcast is proudly sponsored by Candid, LBJ Consultants, CBD Oil Scotland, Elite Scooters Scotland and Metaclad, Four Lads exclusive roofing partner. The Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon, Denhay, the quintessential British bacon. Thank you to all our sponsors, and in partnership with Black Rooster, Art of Gold and Rangers Youth Development Company. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.